Follow Paddy Power on Snapchat. The username is @ThePaddyPower, and we promise there won't be any boring snaps about gigs, the weather or the gym.
Hi there, a very warm welcome to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and in the company of Paul Keeley, Brendan Duke and Paddy Power's Tom Nugent, we are going to look ahead to a fabulous weekend. It's the last chance for Cheltenham Clues with that fantastic card at Kempton. We've also got the Betfred Ida up at Newcastle. What a test that's going to be, 4 miles slogging around the mud there. We've got the Winter Derby at Lingfield. There's a really good chase at Fairyhouse. And then ahead to Sunday where there's a decent card at Naas. And it's the big day of the year at Fontwell as well. So they've got the national spirit there. The boys have got all the odds, all the tips. Let's let battle commence. We'll start with the 3:35 at Kempton. It's the race that everyone still refers to as the Racing Post Chase, but let's give our latest sponsors due recognition. It is actually the Betdac Handicap Chase. It's over 3 miles, and here is how Paddy Power bet on it.
Yeah, Acting Lass is our 130 favourite at the moment. Tintern Theatre is 6-1 next in. Master D 7-1. Go Conquer 8's Art Marek 10-1 alongside Ballycan and Theatre Territory, and it's 12-1 bar.
Okay, Brendan, because I'm so excited about doing a postcast with you for the first time in absolutely ages, you can go first, my friend.
Oh, very kind, Bruce. I quite like Go Conquer. He was obviously very impressive in Ascot on his penultimate run. Made a terrible mistake the last day. I'm not sure the ground, they were given the ground as good to soft in Ascot that day. I think it was softer than it was officially given. Wasn't ideal for him. The ground should be perfect for him on Saturday. And I could see him jumping out. He is, despite that mistake the last day, he is a really accurate jumper. And I could see him putting them all under pressure and being very hard to beat.
Okay. Kills the favourite is Acting Lass. Poor old Harry Fry had a blow today, didn't he, with the the cap fits
absolutely.
being ruled out of the Supreme. So do you think he'll gain recompense here with Acting Lass?
Well, I don't know. He's not having the best of time of things, Harry Fry, is he? He hasn't had a winner over jumps for the best part of a month. I think it is exactly 4 weeks. He did have one on the flat the other day at Kempton, but a 2-5 at the Mickey Mouse race. So, you know, and I did hear him say on Racing UK the other day that he's actually said some of his horses aren't running that well. You know what I mean? So he might have a bit of concern there. In terms of form, it's a very, very progressive horse. It looks like it wants 3 miles and must have a chance, but I couldn't back something at 7-2 in a handicap like this.
Okay, who will you be backing?
Right, well, I've backed two. The first one is Master D in the same ownership as Go Conquer. Now, I backed him ages ago, and it was November the last time he ran, and he looked like he was going to win, and he just got hauled in by On Tour. On Tour ran like he was going to go very close in a race won by Gold Present at Newbury next time. He's since disappeared off the face of the earth in form-wise. But I just wonder whether Master D, he's had so many entries over the last few months. Like, you know, I just wonder whether they're waiting for the absolute perfect conditions, and they finally got him. Decent ground, 3 miles. He's got form over 3 miles. He's never been out of the first 3 in his life, and he's never run in one of those in a Mickey Mouse graded race. You know what I mean? It's all handicaps, like, you know what I mean? It's really consistent horse. And Fergal O'Brien's obviously fancies his chances off because he's booked Barry Geraghty, so I think he's interesting. But the bottom weight Theatre Territory is very interesting as well. Trained by Warren Greattricks, finished second to Master Whitaker on trials day, and Master Whitaker is a really decent horse. I mean, he ran second to Hell's Kitchen at Kempton, stood that form up really well when winning at Cheltenham. The pair were miles clear. This is his first run at 3 miles since she won a point. He's put cheek pieces on. You never really know whether headgear is going to work and bring out any more improvement. But 5 of the last 7 Greattricks runners in first-time cheek pieces have won. So you know, another one was third, and I think the other one was 40-1, and had no hope anyway. No, you know what I mean? So he knows what he's doing when he puts the headgear on.
Okay, we've got to watch yourself, by the way, with theatres. We've got 3. We've got Tintern Theatre, Theatre Territory, and Theatre Guide. But the one Kills likes there is Theatre Territory. But he also likes Master D. Who do you like, Tom Nugent?
Yeah, I'm going to row in behind the learned Mr. Keeley there with Master D. Never out of the first 3 in his 20 runs under rules is some achievement. I think he's still competitive off of 1:45. 3 miles won't be a problem. He won his maiden hurdle up in Musselburgh over 3, and I think he's a right chance here. 7-1 at the moment. Paddy Power paying 4 places. He's a right chance of being in the top 4 if his previous form is anything to go by.
Okay, the first of the 4 ITV live races from Kempton's the 150. It's the Betdac now, 2% commission, Pendle, Novices Chase. Only 4 runners. The favourite is from the Paul Nicholls yard, and generally speaking, down the years, you've done pretty okay If you've backed Paul Nicholls' horses, he's won it 9 times since 2006. So, Tom, just how short is Surname?
Yeah, Surname is 4-6 at the moment. The Unit is next in at 9-4. Petru is 8, and For Good Measure is the 14-1 outsider.
Okay, Tom, we'll stick with you. Have you got a strong view here?
Not a strong view. Very disappointed with how much it cut up from entry stages. On a kind of fitness and class angle, I suppose Surname is very hard to look past. The others might neither run. They've all been off for more than 100 days, and he is £8 clear on ratings. I know he has to give £5 to everything else, but I think he's probably the best horse in the race and is the most likely winner.
Keels, what do you think?
Yeah, well, he's actually miles clear on RPR, much more than £8. I mean, he's almost certainly a good thing. He probably wants really soft ground because he's by nickname, so he might not look as good, you know, if the ground dries out anymore. But he's got a class edge over these for sure. And the Unit, the second favourite, has actually got an entry in at Fonwell on Sunday as well, so might end up being a non.
Oh, blimey. I think we've got a dry, perfectly dry forecast. It's going to be a lovely sunny day at Kempton
the ground was rock hard around my way first thing this morning, so hopefully it don't get colder because we've got this real cold spell.
Oh, I know, the beast from the east. I'm looking forward to that. There's even talk that it's going to hang around right through till Cheltenham time. That's no good. Brendan, you don't back horses under 2-1, so what's your view of this race?
Yeah, disappointing. Because I think I would have backed Surname when Benatar was in. I take Paul's point that the ground, that was the only slight caveat I had. But I did think that form the last day against Terra 4 was probably a little bit stronger than Benatar's, but it's moot now. I think he'll beat these comfortably, and mightn't be a great spectacle in terms of numbers, but he's a really good jumper, this horse, and it should be a good sight to see him bounding around Kempton.
I think Brennan's got it's official now, Brennan's got the nicest voice I've ever heard. You know when people say, what will be your last supper? Well, if my last supper, you know, they always say that, what would you eat? If I could have someone talk to me while I was, you know, facing the electric chair, it would be Brendan.
I think I'd rather have Mariella Foster up myself.
Oh, really? That little gravelly voice? Yeah. Well, I'd go for Brendan, it's lovely. The 225 is the Betdaq hashtag changing for the Betor Adonis Juvenile Hurdle, and this is obviously a race that you do need to pay attention to in terms of the Triumph. Binoculars won it, Soldatino's won it. Help me out here, Kills. Who else? One or two others. Zarkandar, yes indeed. So absolutely always throws up some decent horses for the Triumph. This year's field is headed by Radichin, who a lot of people think is a very, very decent value bet for the Triumph, and he's odds on, Tom, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a 4-5 favourite at the moment. Bo Goss is next in at 9-2. Malaya is 5-1. Grand Sansi is 8-1, and it's 12-1 bar. Okay,
Keels, any inclination to oppose the Jolly?
Yeah, I'm going to get stuck right into laying him. His form as it stands, he's hugely underpriced for the Triumph Hurdle. He's got a top racing race rating of 120. I think the top in the field 141. He has won very easily twice, but in very poor races. He looks very professional the way he goes about it, other than his jumping, that it can sometimes be a real trouble for him. And I'm going to take a chance. Guillaume McCare has a runner. First time in Britain since 2015 when he had a third. He had a first and a third at Wetherby in 2012. Before that, they're the last times he had a runner. He's obviously won Grade 1s in this country with the likes of Gilles de Cochet years ago. And Bo Goss, the last hurdle race it won, the second and third finished first and second in a Grade 1 at Auteuil. If that form isn't miles better than anything Radichin's done so far, then you know I don't know what is. He seems to have been recently bought by Simon Munir and Isaac Swade, though he's not in the Triumph. I don't even know whether there's a supplementary entry stage for the Triumph. But I think 9-2. Guillaume McCare coming over here for the first time in 3 years. Just take it, because this is not a strong race.
Okay. Brendan, you're good at pronouncing French names. Are you any good at translating them? Do you know what Bo Goss means?
No, Bo is pretty, isn't it?
It's handsome kid. Bo Goss.
Kiss, is it?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Is he a handsome bet for you, Brendan?
Well, yeah, I've been swayed by. I want to take on Radichin because of the form issues and his jumping issues and what have you. Now, he has been visually very impressive, but I want to take him on. I wasn't gone on any of the opposition, but I have weak sales resistance, as you know, and that was a very good case Paul made. I'm going to row in with Paul on the Bogas.
He does that. He has a habit of doing that, doesn't he, Brendan? He just grabs you by the lapels and says, you need to back this.
And then you do your brains.
You're on the fence, he'll pull you off it. So he's pulled me off the fence.
He's pulled you off the fence. What's your view here, Tom? Do you fancy the Fav?
No, I'd be with the lads that he is definitely opposable. In terms of what I'd actually back, I'm slightly torn. I thought Malaya would improve for better ground, and he might be the one that I just side with, but I wouldn't have a massively strong opinion just at the moment.
Right, you are. The 3 o'clock at Kempton, the Sky Bet Dovecote Novices Chase, another race that usually has some relevance as far as Cheltenham goes. Cider Grugy's a former winner of this. Did you know that, Kills?
Yeah.
You probably did, didn't you? You know everything. OK, then, Tom, take it away.
Montes Avaloir is our 9-4 favourite. Scarlet Dragon is next in at 9-2. Global Citizen 6-1. Michael's Mount is 7s, and it's 8-1. Destrier and Humphrey Bogart 9-1 bar.
I've got an interesting question for you, lads. There's 2 horses in here priced at 8-1 and 25-1 that finished first and second in a Lingfield Derby trial.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
What are their names?
Yeah.
Humphrey
Bogart and
Carntop.
Exactly. And they're both making their debut over Timber here. Brendan, away you go. Who's going to win this?
Yeah, it's tricky because obviously you have 200 plus horses making their debut in this race over hurdles. But I'm going to go for a horse who was rated mid-80s on the flat, this Michael's Mount. Now, he looked fairly exposed. He'd had 18 runs on the flat, but his best run was his last run on the flat. So he could just be an improving horse. And he really looked like he enjoyed hurdling in Doncaster. I'd say that race in Doncaster was a fair heat as well. The 4th has gone in at Haydock. I'd say it's a race will work out. And he just travelled 2 to their 1 all the way. I think he was just messing around a little bit when he got to the front. I think he won with loads in hand. And he could just be one of these horses that takes the hurdle and takes his form to a new level. So it's 7-1. I'm happy to chance Michael's Mount.
Who do you like, Paul?
Yeah, no, I find this really hard. Montes Avaloir obviously has the best form, and then you've got these 3 flat horses who are all 100 plus. I think Scarlet Dragon was the best of them, and I've always liked Scarlet Dragon. He's done me a few favours, but he's been smashed up in the betting in recent days as well. I think he was 14-1 when the prices first came out, and he's 9-2 now. I also like Destrier of Dan Skelton. Thought he was very, very impressive at Wetherby on heavy ground, which is going to be totally different this time. I'd probably go with him because he's the bigger price out of the ones I've mentioned. It's not a race that I'm going to be chunking on by any stretch of the imagination. There too many question marks.
I'm going to have a little bit on Carntop at 25-1. I don't see it can do much harm there. Tom, who are you going to be backing?
Yeah, Scarlet Dragon was an absolute smash-up during the week, and runs with the dreaded first-time W beside his name, but I think he's got a good chance if the money's anything to go by anyway. Rangers, of course, rated 108 on the flat, so high class.
We did a little bit on, we just reviewed the first month of wind-ups in the paper at the start of the week. And I mean, there's not a whole lot of evidence, but the one little trend that looks like it might just be emerging is that they're slightly more effective on younger horses. So we'll see. But
I'd imagine older horses have already had about 3 or 4 before we know about the other ones.
Well, yeah, that's a fair shout.
Spinner Sacre apparently had about 8 or something, didn't they?
Really?
You know what I mean, yeah, they just keep going and tweaking it a bit. So, the first time it might work. The next few times is probably an act of desperation a lot of the time.
Yeah, sir. If they're running certain ground, it can cause them to lapse a little bit, and the operation, the throat kind of opening collapses again, so they need to be redone, I think, now.
Oh, look at James Herriot over there.
Brilliant.
Interesting. Right, quick shout out to Alan from London. A-L-L-A-N is how he spells his name, and he won the free £25 bet from Paddy Power. Well done. There'll be another chance to win a free bet in Monday's Postcast.